Jasper, who's playing the role of the work experience lad this morning. Welcome to the shed. Welcome to this week's video. This week's video is going to be rather interesting. I'll tell you a few details. Yeah, mate. Because we've got a lot of stuff going on. There's some decisions that were made about some certain things. Anyway, we'll talk about it. I've had to go to Bunnings and I've picked up one of these airline kits, which has got all sorts of bits and pieces and gadgets in it. Which we're going to put on the air compressor project very soon. Coffee this morning. Well, when I was doing the run to Bunnings, I dropped into Mickey Donald's and grabbed some stuff. Now, over the weekend, I decided to have a bit of a I'll call it a crap clearance. I've been hoarding over the years, and I will insert some photos here of some audio equipment that was from past jobs. For some reason, I thought it'd be handy to keep for the future. Over the weekend, I decided, look, it's time for all this stuff to go. These days, with the way that the audio engineering business is done, modern mixing desks have all the plugins, have all the bits and pieces and all the effects on board. A lot of the outboard gear stuff that I'd been sitting around hoarding, it can go. I rang up the local high school, spoke to the music teacher there and said, look, I've got all this gear. Come and see what you want. And if you want it, you can have it. And the rest I will dispose of. And yeah, lovely young lad came down and took most of what the stuff. Photos are in. What I have left with is miles and miles and miles of cables and looms. Looms are when cables are joined together and, you know, like we got run. So I have got masses and masses and masses of cables everywhere around the floor. But over today, I'm going to sort out, pack up and dispose of. Some of the cables will be going to the local high school. Some of the more specialist cables will probably be going down to Bathurst, down to Bro. They're still in the business. And some of the stuff, it will just be junked. I have not decided what to do, and I have to make a decision with the next couple of what to do with the actual PA systems. We have a couple of self-powered PA systems and a few of these large units and stands and all sorts of bits and pieces. There is no use to me keeping on, and I've got to do some thought about that. They may be put on the market, they may be donated to somebody, or they may be sent down to my brother. I'll talk to him and see. Anyway, so that's the start of this week's video. It's going to be a strange video because I have some information to pass on. I'm not sure how to do it yet, and I'm not sure how much to give you yet. But there will be big changes in the channel. Big changes. Massive changes. My circumstances have changed. And I'm not sure if I put it in last week's video, but normally on a Tuesday morning I'm jumping in the truck and heading off to Canberra. That's gone. In fact, I'm in the situation now where I don't have to work if I don't want to. I've secured myself a little... not a massive, a little pension, which is good, which means that I no longer have to work myself hard or flog myself to pay the bills, that I have an underlying income stream if all else goes wrong. Okay, that's roughly what I'm going to put. I'll probably tell you more or less, but yeah, and hence why I've decided all this stuff in the shed is going to go, that I'm just hoarding because it's time to go and clean up. Anyway, I've got to pop into this. Old mate's going to get telling off because you shouldn't really be up there. Come on, dude, off. And we'll get into it. So welcome to this week's video. Hang around. Once I've got the things cleaned up, we will put on 120 PSI on the air tank. Pretty sure it won't go bang, but it might, so it could be interesting. So hang around for that. Welcome to this week's Dave in the Shed. I've only got this select pile of cables to sort out, and we finished with the cable sorting. These ones are actually all loomed up in looms, but I do have to disassemble these ones. They're old, were used for the monitors in the karaoke machine. So it's got power, it's got the audio line that goes to the karaoke monitor, and it's also got a VGA cable in there, but nobody uses that anymore. So these are going to just be pulled apart, stripped down into their individual cable types. Just a matter of going slowly and cutting off all the black insulation tape. Everything else is roughly sorted. There's a pile going down to Brothers. A pile of cables that'll be going to the high school. Yeah, we're doing good, and a few odds and ends. Now, somebody's going to ask, why have you got all these cables and junk and stuff in your shed, Dave? Well, pre-COVID lockdown, used to run a little PA system, little PA company, and I'll put some photos in of what we used to do, or some video. I think there's some video in the thing. But anyway, or some video. I think there's some video in the thing. But anyway, look, I'm never going to do that again. The equipment we had was okay for its time, but well, it was all bought about 10, 15 years ago. These days, none of it's of any use really to anybody with the new digital stuff, apart from the kids at school learning to play with it. And if they have it at the school and they blow it up, right, it's no loss. In fact, I'm more happy that it all went to the school, or most of it, instead of me having to relocate it. Anyway, that's the story for now. I'm just going to tidy up this mess of black cable here and then put some things away. Then we'll move on with the air compressor project. Woohoo! Well, if I've worked out how to do it in the editing program, you may have seen the new Dave in the Shed logo. If I haven't worked out how to do it or what I'm doing, you haven't seen it. But no love lost. Anyway, Wednesday morning I'm in the shed. I've been a bit delayed to start because I had to rush around and do some stuff this morning, including lining up at Aldi's, but that's a completely different story. Yeah. For those who are in the free day, I was going to tell you a story, but it's too late now. It won't matter by the time you see this video, it'll be too late. What I'm about to do is I've fitted up the new air line, got all that. There was still air in it when I was fitting all this up this morning, which is amazing because I can't remember when I charged up. What was that? Anyway, what I'm about to do is I'm going to take it outside. I'm going to run an air line from the compressor right out to the machine. And we're going to charge this up to 120 psi. It should be able to do it because that's what it was rated when it was still a compressor and tank, but there's only one way to find out. I'm going to do it outside the shed for the initial fire up, just in case. No use blowing up the shed unnecessarily. So I'll be back with you in just very soon. Tank is outside, ready to go, about to go and fire up the air compressor. We've got it on the 120 psi line. Sad story about this air line. We got this as a bonus when I bought the big air framing nail gun. Air framing nail gun that's only been used or 2 or 3 jobs. But anyway, on the first day of having this line and up and running it, I dropped the framing gun. It landed on the hose and perfectly split it in two. Don't know how I managed to drop it. Save the gun from hitting the ground and damaging it, but split the air line clean in half. First day of having the air line. Okay, let's go in. Fire up the compressor. Apologies, this will be noisy. Apologies, videoing on the phone so it's shaky. So the line's charging, going up, hasn't gone bang yet. Standing next to the compressor, it just shut off and scared the crap out of me, normally when they turn on. Okay, so that's charged that line to about 120 psi. Compressor is shut off. This is a big industrial compressor. Oh, it's in the dark down there in the corner. I've got to replace the light, the blue, the other day again yet. It's on my list to do. It belonged to a guy called Wally Furwood in Bathurst in his carpentry shop. It was then in Dad's workshop, then in Dave's workshop. Before I commissioned it, I put a new manifold on top of it. Now, this has two 120 psi outlets. Problem is you can't see it in the dark, but anyway, problem is they're both, you can't adjust them individually. So they're both at 120 psi, but you can run two 120 psi lines off it. Okay, so that'll work in my favour because I can run all my shed stuff and run the auxiliary stuff. I don't have to replug. So later I might just run a line off this secondary outlet over there. I should have got the torch to check. But anyway, my line then comes up here to this manifold, and I split it. This is 120 psi. We then run this at 60 psi because it runs all my stuff. I actually have a fitting to replace that, but it's handy to have the dump valve in there just in case. So then we split off 60 psi to my spray booth and to my workshop. But that's how we do. Now, back to charging that thing up. I've closed the valve off. Now we don't quite have 120 psi here because the line's leaking. Just what we need anyway. I don't know if you can hear it, but the line's leaking, the fix is leaking. So we'll have to fix that. That's a fixer. Good, that's not good. I'm going to call that a success, even though we didn't get it up to full 120 psi because the line's leaking, but that's about 100 on that gauge. And we now then can move around without portable air and do stuff. Stop, you silly thing. Stop recording. I was trying to record that. Anyway, we now have air in the tank. And now I've got portable air supply. It was like typical Dave job. Get one thing working, you've got to fix something else. Now I've got to fix a leaky airline. Lovely, fun job. I've tightened my clamps up, so it's not leaking. The air compressor is on, it's just charged the line up and switched off. So this line is charged. To prove it, make you seasick. Walk into the ladder. This line is apparently charged at about then. I'm not sure, I'll have to get a torch out and read the gauges. I think this is either 100 or 120 psi, but you can read the gauge for yourself. See what it's up to. So that line is fully charged. Look, there is air. This is running off the 60 psi line. I get in trouble for walking around all around these videos and making people sick. I've stacked some stuff in the corner that makes it hard to open the door. So the gauge over here reads at about 100 psi. Now that was a cheap gauge, so it might not be accurate, but yep, tank's full. Close the valve, take off my supply line. Got air. Not that you can see anything that I'm pointing the gun at. Okay. Anyway, you get the idea. Hey, it works. All on wheels, all on portable, and look, the magnetic tray fits here, so I can put all my air tank bits and pieces on there. Wacky do. Great success for a Wednesday. Right, on to more projects. Well, hello everybody, welcome back to Dave in the Shed. It's Thursday this week. Sorry, the videos are going to be very, very disjointed for a little bit, for a couple of weeks till things settle. They are going to be all over the place. Had to rush around and chase up suppliers this morning, both on the phone and in physical. I don't want to tell you what the new projects are and what's coming up until everything's lined up, because I'm that type of person. I just like to say, okay, this is what we're working on this week, and I've got all the stuff and I'm going to lay it out, because until it's all in front of me, it doesn't seem real. But there is some exciting stuff coming. I am very soon going to start on the park gates, making the gate move, but unfortunately it's a bit of a problem because I'm going to have to drill a hole and see where it goes, because there's all sorts of timber and beams and there's all sorts of things under here where I want the gate servo to go. So that's going to be an interesting construction job, sorting that out. The gate's roughly about there. where all the timber joins up. And I don't even know what that screw's doing there. We'll have to investigate that. The park gate has to go in right there. So that'll be fun and games. That's a job I'll do soon. Drill a hole down to see where it goes and see how I'm going to mount that servo. That could be fun. So that's one of our jobs. Lighthouse very soon will be the next job. I'm umming and ahhing about putting a switch in the doorway so you can toggle the lighthouse on and off. That's again umming and ahhing because that big pink thing you can see in there is actually the mount for the lighthouse. So I'd have to do something to make the lighthouse removable. Anyway, that's a Dave problem. Work out that later. Now, I was watching a YouTube video last night from a young fella who's in New Zealand using a table saw, and though his program was really good, I'm not going to name the channel, his use of the saw was downright dangerous. Even me, I just thought, no, that you can't show that on YouTube. He wasn't using push sticks. He wasn't using the table saw very safely. That guy mustn't like his fingers. Young fella. I know when I was messing around with the air compressor, I made a bit of a joke that was going to bang. I was not working outside the capability. This tank is rated 120 psi. I knew that putting 120 psi, it wasn't going to go to bang, but I wouldn't take any risks. Now I am in the workshop in the Japanese safety boots, but I'm just having a chat, having a talk, not doing any work on projects, not in the Japanese safety boots. I'm doing that. I'm going to show you something about this, but suppliers are cheesing me off. I had a local supplier ring me and say my order was in, and I went over there and no, half my order's in. The other half was out the back, but the guy was on his own, so he wasn't going to go out the back to go and get it for me. So, like, wasted trip. Another supplier in Melbourne, who I've used many times, is dicking me round. Told me that I've rang suppliers, told me the stuff is in stock, ready to ship. Rang him this morning. Oh, we're missing an item. Okay, send me what you've got. Oh, no, that's not our company policy. You'll have to wait till it all comes in. Okay, how long will that take? I don't know. And this is the killer bit. He said, if you pay an extra $24, we'll get it shipped to us express. Like, what? Get off the grass. No. So anyway, there is stuff coming. Now, talking about back on the safety. One thing I have bought and picked up is this item here, which is a new welding helmet. I'm taking seriously, people. This is a world class, good pro. It's a world class. The company's called World Class. This is a Pro Max 680. Now, they're not just flogging you poo when they're selling this is a professional helmet. This is professional helmet. Very lucky that I was able to get this at a good price, having a chat with the fellas. Lovely. So they've set me up, and I've paid for this. This is not sponsored. I've paid for it, and my own spondoolie, this helmet. This is a fancy piece of kit. And you're going to go, what makes this so fancy? Well, in my welding bay, we don't have any fume extraction. Over my paint spray booth, it's just a glorified, well, it is, it's not glorified, it is a kitchen range hood extraction system. This is, and you'll see all the pro guys using it. Oh, going to drop it everywhere, smash the screen on the first day. This is one of the welders that has a suction pack on the back of it. I might put a couple of photos in. So this has a sort of like an air supply that sits on the small of your back, and it pushes air into the helmet and vents it. So when you're welding, you're not sucking in the fumes. Like I said, we stuff around with safety, but I really do take it as seriously as possible. There was somebody who a little bit expressed concerns with when I was welding something about I should really be using a better helmet. Got the better helmet. Got it. Bought it. Took advice on board. Yes, later on the track, if we're doing lots of welding, we will have to relook at sucking welding fumes and welding dust out of the heavy machinery shop. That's also why we have a heavy machinery shop down the back with all the heavy, really dangerous cutting tools in a spot we can lock up and keep people out. All to do with the safety and planning the safety of what we're doing in the shed. So we're not messing around. I'll just tell you, it could be fun as a joke, but some things we don't mess around. So there, I've bought this, and you'll probably see me using it, hopefully in some videos ahead. We will look at putting an extraction system in the welding bay, and it might just be another kitchen exhaust system, extraction system, a range hood that I get cheap and do that, because it'll get the fumes out. But this thing is great. Now the advantage of this thing is it's I think it's P3, particle free size is what it's called. This is P3 rated, which means it'll be usable for welding. You need P3 for welding. I think it's P3. It's okay for paint spraying, P3. Also good for working with MDF, because MDF dust is something you want to be wary of. So yeah, just thought I'd show you that. So the people, yeah, I was just horrified by watching this, guys. I won't even give you a link to it, to the video, because I thought, don't show people that on YouTube. That's dangerous. Yeah. I did tell you when I was doing something dangerous and not to do it when I was playing with that the compressor and the motor and the capacitors. I said, look, don't play them, don't play them. So anyway, that's where I'm up to. Hope you're doing okay. We'll update some videos, but I promise there is some stuff coming that's going to be interesting. It's boring at the moment, but it will be interesting. I'm just waiting for all the stars to align. But I thought I'd show you this, so you got something to look at in this video. So that is, now I'm not sponsored by them. You can find them online. They're an Australian type company. Well, they have outlets in Australia. So this is a world-class Promax 680R. I was wearing it around the house yesterday afternoon just to practice turning on to an earth looking like a Darth Vader, but the thing's going to be great. Sadly, it's not going to improve my welding one little bit, but it'll mean the process of welding will be safer. So yeah, so having a bit of rant and a rave and do that, but anyway, I'll get out of your hair. Any questions about any of the stuff, let me know. If you want a link to where I got the helmet from, let me know and I'll tell you. But I just thought, yep, if we're going to play around with this stuff, really let's play around with it as safe as possible. Yep, you don't want to mess around with stuff you don't have to. So yeah, I just thought, do that. Talk to you soon. Get out of your hair. Time for a coffee. I've got to go and hit the phones again. I'm not having the best of day, but I'll talk to you later. We'll shake the phone. Got to stop using the phone to record your videos, Dave. When are you going to do something about that? Even Glenn at Bunnings. Hi, Glenn. Has said you've got to get. Believe ya. I just put on it wasn't Bunnings who stuffed me around this morning. I won't name the industry, the company. They're normally really good, but it wasn't Bunnings who stuffed me down. Don't everybody jump on and go, oh, typical Bunnings. Bunnings are normally 98% of the time are good. They've done special orders for me in the past and we've not had problems. They're pretty upfront when things are going to be delivered and how we get delivered. But anyway, wasn't Bunnings. Don't think it was Bunnings who stuffed me around. Still a Bunnings fanboy. But anyway, I'll get back to doing what I was doing, which is stressing myself out more. Now, talking about stuff humps, I'll show you this one. This is a classic stuff hump. I've wanted a we wanted 6 mil, but the closest we could get is 6.4. 6.4 mil mortise drill bit. Now, if you don't know what a mortise drill bit is, it's a drill bit that drills a square hole. Yes, folks, they do exist. A drill bit that drills a square hole. What I want to do is cut some holes in some MDF, into 6 mil MDF, and I want a 6 mil slot. And you can do that with a router, but if you want a really, really, really nice, neat precision cut, you use what they call a mortise drill. And this will do it perfectly. I'll see if I can drop it down. So it is a square, I'm not pulling your leg, it's not April Fool, it is a square drill bit. As long as you be very careful, you can get a nice, accurate square cut using a drill press. But I'm not sure this is going to work in my drill press, because the tail on it is so long. Oh, yeah. Don't know how we're going to work around that one. It's designed to go in a milling machine, Dave, not in a drill press. Yeah, good one. So we might have to cut the tail. Might have to cut some of this off here, off that tail bit to fit in my drill press. We'll see what happens. You got to laugh or you go insane, don't you, folks? Good one. Okay. I've got some other mortise drills. If you want to know what mortise drills are, let me know and I'll do an in-depth story about them. But that's a drill bit that's designed to drill square holes in timber. They exist, people. Folks, you'll never believe what happened. I was sitting down editing up some video and there was a ring on the doorbell, or somebody pushed the doorbell. My doorbell, because I'm semi-deaf, makes one hell of a racket. It wakes the dead. It needs to be that way. Lo and behold, it was a courier from Stan's Courier, and I'm just going to walk backwards and show you this. We've had a massive delivery. This is the new direction of the channel in 13 boxes. This is 3 out of 4. Yes, this is 3 out of 4 of new 3D printers that I've ordered to take us forward with the stuff I want to do. Yeah. We'll go into more details of what I've done and why soon, but here's 3D printer heaven. We have down here, which is a Creality K1 Max. It is the largest printer that you can buy for like domestic type printing. It's a big machine. It's for doing big jobs because I work in O scale push limits of most domestic machines. So this is it. This is the biggest you can get without going industrial version. Creality K1 Max. Next, I did a package deal from Creality. I have paid for all this gear myself, but once again I contacted them. I told them what I was looking for, what I wanted. We did a package deal. The more you buy, we have in these 2 boxes. And this is going to be a learning curve for all of it. This is a resin printing setup for printing resin prints. Resin is where 3D printing started. It's now almost the little brother. The FDM printers or filament printers are catching up with such good resolution but we got a good deal on a little one. So this is actually the printer. This is a print dryer and processor because 3D resin prints need drying and processing. It's only a small one. This is going to be very handy for one job. One job only is little fine parts. So I want to do some people. Doing O-scale people is a bit tricky in FDM. We've done it, but they're not the best. But this is going to do little people, little figures, little bits and pieces. Very popular resin printing with the tabletop gamers for their figures. And of course, it's a bit tricky stuff. You need a print processor dryer. A bit like the old photography days when you used to do black and white photography. This is equivalent to your larger, and this is your dryer. So it's a bit of a chemical process. We've got some, excuse me, coughing, some stuff to go with it. Printer resin. In here is, and I wasn't going to buy one of these. I'm trying to get down to bed slingers, but it's new. They're trying to get it into people's hands. This is, it's only just been released. It's a Creality High Combo. Yes, if you look on the hype, up until the other week when I was playing with tractors, I never saw that I would need to print 3D in colour. Yep, well not actually in colour, but it allows you to use different colours of filament on the same print run job. When we've got it all set up and running, we'll talk more about it. I'm not going to do setup videos. I'm not going to do testing videos. There's heaps of those videos on that, but I will do videos on how we use it and why. Now, I'll let the cat out of the bag. There's another printer coming as well. I wasn't going to buy the Creality High, but it came out such a good deal, such a good package deal. I was buying my favourite, the Flash Forge 5M Pro, which I've been talking about that I wanted one. In fact, I was going to order myself 2, but we've ordered one. We only need one at this stage. We can get another one later. I'm shaking my hand, shaking the video. So the cat's out of the bag. We have a Flash Forge 5M Pro coming as well. I was going to buy a K1, which is this big printer, and 2 Flash Forge 5Ms to replace my little Flash Forge printers because the Flash Forge platform I love. But Creality did me a deal. Now, I pay for it. No sponsorship. Creality did me a deal. There's more stuff around the corner that came with the deal in all these boxes. There was 13 boxes in this shipment and all that I've got to unpack and sort out. So what's going to happen now is over the next 2 days, the end of freeze, they're gone. They're going out. They're going to a good home, as they is. So they're going. And we're going to retire Bluey. Bluey is going to stay with us for spare parts and to keep, because you can't buy Adventure Free parts anymore. I was going to buy some parts and put them away, stock up to keep my Adventure Frees. Pinky, which is my Pro model, is staying even though it's high hours. We will have there's only 2 parts that are different between the two. The camera and the interface on the board. But anyway, so that's why we're keeping the old machine in service. But we have a Flash Forge 5M Pro coming to replace Bluey. And to replace these 2 machines, we have the K1 Max, big machine, and the Creality High, and the resin printer. So we've ordered 4 new printers, but that's not all. That's not all. Coming soon, and I don't like to do coming soon. Glenn, your wish has been granted. And I didn't order the Hero. I didn't order the GoPro Hero. I looked at lots of different cameras and bits and pieces, but I've bought a can't even think of the name of it. I put the name of it. Bought a new camera as well, which is in shipping, which is a Pocket Max, Pocket Free. It's a proper vlogging camera, mate. It's a camera with a gimbal that I can carry around and will not do nice, smooth videos. So that's where we're going with Dave in the Shed videos. We're taking it up a notch. DJI, anyway, it's the DJI, whatever it is. It's a camera designed for blogging. And we've got that coming soon. As well as a whole lot of other stuff for Dave in the Shed to do projects. There's a project that we've got lined up for the K1 Max, which is a project I've been wanting to do for ages. That'll be coming soon. Big announcement. As also, well, for those who may cross-channel, for those who are involved with my podcasts, we're building the new podcast studio. That stuff hasn't arrived yet. You might see, I try not to cross-platform my social media platforms, but everything's new. We're starting from new. We've got some great things coming, and now I'm going to rant and get out of here. Got to go and eat me steak sandwich for lunch, and I've got to pick up these old girls. Talk to you soon. I'm going to yell over the sound of a very noisy printer. I've made a big dent in the cardboard box situation. Started setting up the printer situation. I was hoping that my Flash Forge unit that I'm absolutely hanging out for would arrive this morning, but it hasn't. So I can't do much more till we get that in and work out spacing. But the little Creality High, I did a quick test print on that. It all works fine after unpacking and assembling. It's done what we call a benchy. Good old Pinky nesting over in the corner. I have to reassemble the computer, but the computer's gone. But this Creality K1 Maxi, it's incredible. We were waiting for the dryer. This is this little box here to arrive. It arrived this morning, so I've got to install the dryer. But in the meantime, I used my old spool assembly to because I was impatient. So we did the testing, and I'm doing off what's called a Crystal Dragon, printing a new dragon to go around the lighthouse, because the dragon on the lighthouse is falling apart. This was a print that used to take over 26 hours on my old machine. According to this one, it can do it in 7. So yeah, it's about, what's that, a third of the speed of the old one? Or whatever it is. Anyway, it can do it in much time, so it's doing a print that used to take us 26 hours in 7. That's the capacity of these new machines, and that S1 doesn't owe me anything. It's done well. Bluey's out in a new spot in the shed. Bluey's can print out there if he needs to, but he's just got to rest there for a bit. Pinky's here, computer out, so that's about it. The resin stuff, we've unboxed the resin printer. We put it all up here down the road. This is supplies. Printer room still needs some more tidy, but we're still waiting a couple of items back in it. So next week, it'll probably be talking about printers, but hopefully I'm going to be on the lighthouse. I'll get the lighthouse back in. I've got stuff to do, some bits and pieces. So till then, take care. Don't forget, if you've come across this video, like and subscribe. Please leave your comments. Let you know any questions about anything in this video that makes no sense, please ask. And I have news on the new camera. People will be having the new camera. Has been shipped this morning. Have no idea when it arrives. So next week, you might be not shaky. Well, I might be also be shaky, but the video might not be. So that's it. Take care. Look after yourselves. about to say goodbye from the shed, but I'm not in the shed. But anyway, from Dave in the shed, catch you next Friday. Don't forget, get out in your shed, do stuff. As Henry Ford once said, if you think you can, and if you think you can't, you are correct.